There's a lot of bad news circulating the internet from a lot of different sources today about a number of different movies that are looking at the possibility of pushing back release dates yet again. And even with the good intentions of Tenet releasing to try to resurrect the cinema world, it wasn't the most amazing introduction from a monetary standpoint in the back end of this pandemic period that we're in. So that's going to have a negative effect on a lot of big name movies moving forward, and we'll cover the news and keep you up to date on what's going on right now in this video. Also, once we're done talking about all the doom and gloom, the movies that are probably getting pushed back, I'm going to give you a list of all the movies that currently have release dates until the end of the year, so stay tuned for that as well. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture. It's Chris, and if you love to stay up to date on all major movie and television news, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're covering it here on the channel. And for live updates, you can follow me on Twitter at TheCultureChris. So, a lot of rumors, hums, and bad news pushing around the internet this morning, as it is being discussed primarily that Black Widow will not be making its November 6th date. Following that, there's a lot of rumors going around that Wonder Woman will too be seeing a pushback, as the Tenet numbers weren't enough to convince Warner Brothers that it is time to release this movie that they really are banking on doing extremely well for DC. And yes, for the majority of this year, it's been a little bit awkward for a lot of these large studios with huge blockbuster breaking movies that they haven't been able to release, and they're sitting on it. Tenet had a $200 million budget, but it only brought in $20 million in the first 11 days of its release in the United States, which is not very good. Now granted, this was the first big movie to be released in months, and a lot of the mainstream theaters where these movies get a lot of money brought into aren't open. On top of that, it came out Labor Day weekend, which is the last opportunity for a lot of people to go and enjoy the summer. So people weren't necessarily trying to go to the movie theater, they were trying to go to the beach or go do something outside. So it wasn't an ideal release situation. And on top of that, you have people nervous about going to movie theaters and being in big groups because we are still trying to get over a pandemic. And all of that, on top of the only making $20 million in the US box office, is not a good look for the release of future films. Which brings us to the news and the video of today. Things are looking like they're going to be pushed back again. Now, for Marvel, that means a lot of different things are going to get pushed back over time because they have their timeline, they have their big Phase 4, they now have their Disney Plus shows. So presumably all of that is going to be affected by the non-releasing of Black Widow, which was supposed to come out November 6th. And it looks like that's probably going to change, taking a lot of big Marvel titles with it. But Wonder Woman is also probably going to experience the same setback, and we talked about this a little bit when, during DC Fandom and the trailer they released, they never gave us a specific release date. So that brought a little bit of fear that maybe they're just waiting to see how Tenet does and they'll decide if they're going to stick to their release date based off of that, but we never got a release date from them in the entirety of that event, including in the trailer and the posters they released. So we already were a little concerned about Wonder Woman, and now with the news that most people are looking to push back, that's not a good sign that we will be getting the Wonder Woman movie in the immediate future. Now there's always hope for other movies like No Time to Die that is also scheduled to come out in November, and potentially Dune that is scheduled to come out in December. They just dropped big trailers, 3-minute trailer for Dune today and a 2.5-minute long trailer for James Bond, relaunching the marketing for these movies and trying to get them pushed and going so people can be excited to watch them, and we'll have to see what happens with those. I'm hearing that Dune is probably going to get pushed back as well. No word on James Bond, but you know, we kind of have to just wait and see what everybody decides to do. If everybody starts pushing movies back, it's likely the rest will follow, and we'll just have to wait a little bit longer until the movies can be open completely to the point of releasing new movies. The good news is it doesn't look like the theaters will be closing again in most of the places where it's already been opened, so we'll just have to wait for the rest of the country to get comfortable, to get healthy, and then when those theaters open, we can start rolling out all of these movies again. Now, I promised you the list of all the movies that currently have release dates until the end of the year, so I'll go ahead and list those off for you. As it currently stands, and all of these are subject to change, this is what will be coming out until the end of the year. September 11th, Broken Hearts Gallery. September 25th, Greenland. October 9th, War with Grandpa. October 16th, Candyman. October 23rd, Death on the Nile, and Lord and Miller Connected. October 30th, Fatal. November 6th, Black Widow as of right now, and Let Him Go. November 13th, Deep Water. November 20th, James Bond, No Time to Die, and Disney's Soul. November 25th, Voyagers and Happiest Season. December 4th, The Empty Man. December 11th, Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy. December 18th, Coming to America 2, West Side Story, and Dune. December 23rd, Croods 2. December 25th, News of the World, and December 30th, Escape Room 2. So as it stands right now, a lot of these movies are looking like they're going to get pushed back, especially some of those bigger blockbusters, the Black Widow movie, James Bond potentially, Dune potentially. These are movies that have very, very high budgets, and they really can't afford to not do well in the box office. So I know we're tired of the negative rumors and the bad news, but that's the rumors for today. A lot of talks about movies getting pushed back all over the internet, and now you're up to date with that information. As these movies officially get removed from their current location and set to come out in other days, we'll be sure to update you with that information right here on the channel. So if you found this information helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all major movie and television news that we are covering here on Cosmic Culture.